How's it going, Admiral Army? It's your boy Addy, and I wanted to ask a question very quickly here. What does it take in your mind for it to be considered election meddling from these big tech companies? What other lines can possibly be crossed? What other magical errors and mistakes can happen to just specifically one side for people to finally wake up and see what is happening? See the censoring of information. The Hunter Biden story? Is that not enough for these archaic relics in the Republican Party supposed to represent me? Is it not enough for them to see that, to finally take a stand and decide what's right? Evidently it's not. That's why I'm asking, what do you think it takes for these people to finally wake up? I understand these dinosaurs that don't even know how to use an iPad don't understand how censoring a story like that could entirely flip an election. But what more can we even do? What more can we say to get them to finally wake up and realize? I just wanted to ask that question real quick. Maybe let me know down in the comments what you think it would take. So Facebook shuts down page for GOP Senate campaigns just before Georgia runoffs. Yes, Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue's campaign ad on Facebook is shut down. If that is not election interference, what else is? What more can possibly be done? I'd like to see the inner workings of this algorithm that they state has accidentally gotten rid of this ad campaign. How come it didn't then get rid of Ossoff's and whoever else is the other Democratic leader on that side? Why didn't it get rid of their ad campaign? Why did it magically affect just the Republicans once more? So for those of you that are unfamiliar, an algorithm is essentially a line of code that is told to a computer that the computer is supposed to pretty much make an action on. Let's say you don't like the letter A, you put it in a line of code that says, remove all posts with the letter A, and it should systematically get rid of any post with the letter A found within it. So what kind of algorithm could you imagine that would allow Facebook's computer to shut down just the GOP Senate campaigns advertising? I can't think of a single one that would specifically target the right side, as it has essentially every single time, but allow Ossoff's to remain. What would be the difference between the two? How could this computer, of all things, determine that one ad campaign is bad and the other is good? Sort of a mind-boggling question, some may say. So with this video being on the subject of censorship and the mass censorship that happens to affect the right side, consider sharing this. It really is important. It is the most helpful way to get my channel out there so that people can find information like this. We all know YouTube's going to put me into the black hole realm of the algorithm, so sharing this is the best way for people to find this information. Smash the subscribe button, leave a like, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think about the article I'm about to read you now. And of course, the Facebook spokesperson declares it was a mistake. This was just something that happened. An automated error caused this ad account to be disabled. The account has since been restored. Well, thank you, Facebook. You restored the account that you took down by accident. An automated error. So can we see the line of coding that led to this automated error? And how come it didn't affect other ad campaigns within your website? Why is it that it specifically targeted Loeffler and Perdue's? That doesn't add up in my mind, as it's supposed to be a line of code that tells the computer what action to perform. How is it that it was once more a mistake? Remember that this is the company responsible for hiding the Hunter Biden laptop scandal and stating it will be available to access for our fact checkers to look into, but we're going to restrict access to it from the public. So the same people who can decide what information you can see or not are the ones who are blocking campaign ads for a Georgia Senate runoff. How is that protected under Section 230 in any way? Section 230 is meant to be sort of like treating Facebook as if they were your phone company. Let's say that your phone company magically started sending you texts saying, vote for Joe Biden. That would be pretty weird, right? If they magically just sent out mass texting to everyone on their plan saying, vote for Joe Biden. That would presumably break Section 230. And this is the same sort of ordeal. So why is Facebook under this protection that they can't be liable for what is put on their website? If they are the arbiters of truth and they decide who can see information and what information gets banned, why are they protected still? This sort of led me to question, why would it only affect the Republicans versus the Democrats? And why does Facebook have any involvement in the election whatsoever? So here we have their election. This is from the Facebook website. Their claim here is that they estimate we helped a record 4.5 million people register to vote based on a conversion rate we calculated. So this company responsible for hiding the scandal, as well as silencing people on the right, they banned the Stop the Steal account, heavily left-leaning company. They magically have reached out and helped a record 4.5 million people register to vote. Well, good for you, Facebook. Do you think Verizon has helped 4.5 million people vote? They certainly haven't, but they're under the same protections, the same guidelines as this company who is under the guise of, yes, we just want to pass information on. We want you to be able to find the information. They don't want you to be able to find the information. They want you to find their information. They want to link you back to their website, their Facebook fact-checking website that's off-sourced to people that have no accountability. People who we don't even know get to fact-check the information. How does that make sense? You can type a random article stating, like I remember a fact-check in the past was, the suitcases pulled from under the table in Georgia wasn't a suitcase at all. Those were registered, or those were official ballot boxes, so this fact-check is incorrect. That's insane. They get to make that determination just because they're not suitcases, they're ballot boxes. They get to restrict the information, the reach that information has about what happened in Georgia because of that fact check. That is the most biased way possible to do any of this, and none of it affects the left side. And I sort of wonder why. It couldn't possibly be because Mark Zuckerberg, as we see here, Facebook CEO saved the 2020 election. Could you give me an estimate of how much money you think he donated towards election costs? Just him, not Facebook, because Facebook is bipartisan. They only donated $6 million to Joe Biden. But Mark Zuckerberg and his wife donated $350 million to this little-known company, nonprofit Center for Tech and Civic Life. Yes, a previously small Chicago-based nonprofit. They donated $350 million to, in which that money was spread out to 2,500 jurisdictions in order to help with election costs. So the same person who runs this company that's supposed to have no political leaning, donates $350 million. Who does that? Going to places like Philadelphia and Chester County. Yeah, would you have guessed that Mark Zuckerberg was the one who bought over $5 million worth of voting equipment, specifically the mail-in absentee ballot voting equipment in Philadelphia? Wow, that's an odd coincidence, isn't it? So someone whose platform is entirely bipartisan as they continue to ban just the right side donates that insane amount of money. That's unfathomable, honestly, to donate that much. And yet, it's still under the guise and protection of the Section 230 Act that's supposed to treat this company as if they're Verizon. There's no correlation between the two at this point. That protection was originally put in place when these were small startup companies at the very bottom of the food chain. They didn't have much power, but these companies have more power than anyone else in the world. There is not a single company that has more, nor government that has more power and authority than these guys. And you still have Republican, archaic, relic dinosaurs, fossils, deciding that Section 230 should still apply to these people because they don't know. They don't know what the average American person wants. They're still living in the past when we're riding around on horses, shooting people out in the wild, wild west. That is not how things work anymore. This right here is fifth generational warfare, telling people that they can only view the information that you deem worthy. That's fifth generational warfare. It is the information civil war. It really is. And that's not even to go along with the $350 million Zuckerberg donated here. That just stacks on top of the nearly $65 million other big companies donated to this, specifically to super PACs and Joe Biden. Microsoft, $17 million to Joe Biden. Wow, so the same person who has a huge tie-in to Google decides to donate $17 million to Joe Biden and Democrat super PACs. Amazon, $9 million to Joe Biden. What gracious donors they are. What about the money to Republicans? Where's the breadcrumbs for Republicans? Here's $6 million from Facebook. Let's just add that on top of the $350 million that Mark Zuckerberg decided to donate to these campaigns to help election officials. Let's pay off different election officials' salaries. That's exactly where that money went, too. A lot of it went to paying off people who were poll watchers and election officials. How do you distribute $350 million between that few amount of people that are supposed to be working there? How do you run up that sum? I wonder what the salary is looking like for a lot of these election officials who weren't needed before, but this election specifically, they needed this big pay raise in order to make sure things were secure and fair. That's not how these companies are supposed to run. They're supposed to be bipartisan. They're supposed to be a place where I can come, put down my little segment, say what I want, and be left alone. If people like it, they like it. If not, they don't. That's the guys that they're protected under. That's what it's supposed to protect Section 230 is. Not this mass censorship of anything that contradicts their opinions. Probably because Biden's going to sell us out and they'll make huge gains from it. They have nothing to gain from not voting for Biden. Biden is the one for the big corporations. He's for these people. And finally, it looks like at least some of the Republican senators are starting to wake up. You have people like Ted Cruz, Josh Halls, I think his name is, finally saying, yes, Section 230, they are abusing this power left and right and laughing in your face. How does Zuckerberg even have $350 million in pocket change to hand out? Where did that come from? It all doesn't make any sense to still assume that these people have any intention of helping you find information. That is not what they're about. They're not my phone carrier. They're not letting me send my friend a text message saying, hey, this is this. It's like me sending my friend a text message, Joe Biden sucks, and then it's interceived by the Verizon company, never to reach my friend. That's more what it's like. And that's not what is allowed to happen. I can't have my phone number taken away from me for something I say. But that's what's happening here. Your account's banned because of things you say. And yet people still don't understand that this is the war we're fighting. The CCP, big tech, the media, this is the war that conservatives are fighting. I'm not even very conservative minded. I'm open to anything. If you show me a way that welfare for all can work, or healthcare for all, whatever you want to say, a socialized form, where it doesn't just destroy how it is run, I'm willing to look into it. I'm willing to look into any ideas that are viable and good, but this is what we're fighting, not each other. This is. But that'll be it for this one. Just needed to talk about this. Facebook sucks, as always. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share it with some friends. Definitely share it. It is huge for my channel when people share. So that'll be it. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.